the mission is, and knowing that, everybody, and it's not just if you have anxiety. I mean, anxiety accompanies everything nowadays, but everybody needs, or not needs, I don't like the needs, but, everybody could benefit from putting yourself into the most positive, loving space, an open space before you even get out of the house, because then you can really view things in a much light-hearted way. You can look at work as the most dreadful thing in the world, or you can look at it as something that you love to do. If you don't love what you do, maybe it's time to look around and maybe make those changes. And for me, I can't wait to see the people. I created a life where people meet and greet me with a hug. They come in hugging me, they leave hugging me. People are, counting down. I've been waiting all week to come see you. It's a wonderful life that I have. Doesn't mean that I've got a lot of money or all the things that I've always wanted, but I am happier than most people I've ever come across now.
Well, that says something, folks. When you get an opportunity to study with or learn from someone who's really genuinely gone through a lot and then created a life where they are truly happy and doing daily rituals, daily routines. We don't have to call them rituals, but routines where they are now getting their needs met and the warmth and affection and joy that most of us absolutely yearn for. And Dr. Emily Smith here, whether you go to spiritwavehealing.com or whether you go to,
AnxietySucks.net.
You're in for a big treat. That's just fabulous.
And it's funny that you say that. I am single, and I'm not saying that like, hey man, I'm single. I am not financially in the place I want to be, but when I say I'm happier than most people I've ever met, I mean it, and it's not from anybody else. When I say I'm single, it's only to say this is something that Spirit and I came through together. It's not because somebody came into my life and now I'm so happy. There's nobody to blame or to give credit to but myself and God. That's it. My whole spiritual team of warriors of light and myself, that's the creation. Whatever situation you are in, you can still find the most amazing happiness and peace. It all really does happen inside. And then it carries out into the world. So, if you are yearning and longing for things, you guys, really find a mentor or find some path that helps you to wake up to your best life, because we really are wasting the most valuable, amazing thing, and that is just simply being alive. The blessings there, you don't have to find them in the bank,
Yes. Now, I'm wondering, Dr. Emily, do people connect to some of your lifestyle through blogging with you or the books? Because you're talking about some things that are simple but critically important, crucially important for someone to live a happy life. And here you are, not just talking about it, you're the living role model of this.
I am in it. Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of looking at, well, how can people kind of connect with that so that they can do what they can to begin to calibrate their lives? Well, okay, I did one thing more like Dr. Emily. I did another thing, and geez, guess what? I'm feeling 5% happier or a little bit or a lot happier.
I'm on Facebook, and I leave a little affirmation every day. Even if I'm having a hard day, it doesn't matter, because that's not what I'm there to do, right? And I have people from, like, high school, people I haven't seen in years writing me letters saying, I always feel better when I read this. Little things. If you don't like what you see, change your perspective. I do things like that. You always have a choice. Please, if you're living in this country especially, never doubt that you always have a choice. It's, what? I would say the best thing you guys could do is start surrounding yourself with spiritually like-minded people. Be around people that, they ask you in yoga, how much time a day do you spend in the company of the wise? Be around as many people as you can that make you feel better for having been around them. And also understand, and this is in my Anxiety Sucks book, when people are feeling down and out, they think that they are lacking. But if you can think of anybody in your life, anybody you even met that inspires you, that makes you feel something special, and you see in them something amazing, understand that there is no possible way that you could see that in them if you didn't already possess it in you. It's a law of the universe. I wouldn't see the goodness in you, Ken, if I didn't have it. You wouldn't see the goodness in me if you didn't have it.
Yes, when I've received compliments from people, I will often respond by saying to them, if they say, well, you're kind or compassionate, and say, well, it takes one to know one.
Yep. And it's true. They can't see the beauty and light in somebody else and not have it in themselves. It's just that now we have to really start changing our perspective. Instead of harping on the things that we don't love about ourselves, we need to start opening up to the idea that we're actually pretty darn great. And it's not an arrogant thing. It's just, hey, I'm a good person, and I have a big heart, and I can, I can be truthful and honest with myself. Therefore, I can be available to you. Does that mean that I could? Somebody said that to me the other day. I said something really positive, and they said, wow, you really can make somebody feel worse. And I said, how does that make somebody feel worse? I said, do you want me to really make you feel better? And I went through this list of all the things that aren't really good in my life. And I said, I could say all that, but guess what? None of that matters to me. And they were like, okay, I gotcha. It's like, of course I can harp on that stuff, but why would I? For what purpose?
Well, here's an alternative, and I'm just kind of wondering, because we were earlier talking about being so many people in the culture being addicted to drama, and some of the idea that you hear from time to time is that by watching drama and seeing someone worse off than yourself, you feel better because, by comparison, you don't have it as bad as they do.
Yes, I did that with my anxiety books for all the self-help. It was like, please, somebody tell me if you were as crazy as me. Just please, somebody. Please let me know that I'm not the worst. Because I remember going to a therapist, a psychologist no less, to get EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing, or reprogramming for my anxiety. And she met me a few times, and I had to fill out all this paperwork, and then I finally went to her to start the process. And do you know what she says to me before we even get started?
No.
I don't know if this will work on you because you're one of the worst I've ever worked with.
All right. You love that encouragement.
I mean, thanks for setting it. And I knew in my head, like Spirit said to me, she's new with this, and she just put it on you in case she doesn't do what she wants to do.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. And she said, well, are you ready? And I said, no, I'm not ready.
Are you ready?
I said, are you telling me that you are a psychologist, you work with people, and I'm one of the...
Oh.
To see the other side. I don't have to make up stuff to make you think I'm normal. I'm telling you the stuff I don't tell anybody else, and now you're telling me I'm the worst? And she said, well, you don't breathe, and you don't take breaks, and is this bad? You catastrophize everything. And I thought, well, thanks. You just made it way worse by telling me I'm the worst. It was heartbreaking to me. I went through it, though. I mean, it was a good switch.
Oh, okay. So she still treated you even though you were the worst.
Yeah, yep. And she couldn't believe how calm I was at the end. And, all of a sudden she didn't put that stuff on me anymore. And I realized that I was, worse than I thought I was at the time. However, I also realized that was her own insecurity talking, and she couldn't take responsibility for it, so she pushed it on to me. And that's not the way we want to treat people.
Yeah, so if in the intake interview you feel worse rather than better, you may want to consider going to a different therapeutic process.
You know what? Go to a different... the only reason I went to her in the first place is because it was what my insurance covered. And then I said, that's not really worth it. But in truth, if you guys are feeling bad, don't put that stuff on other people. You know why people trust me, my clients? Because if I don't know something, I will let you know that I don't know, and I'll let you know that I'll find out. But I am not a know-it-all. I don't know everything. So if you ask me something, I have no problem saying, you know what, I'm not really sure. That's the kind of people you want. Not saying that's just me, but, to have somebody put it on to me. Yeah, just tell me. If you're new at this, because I had already heard from her senior person that she was new at it. She didn't tell me that. But if you're new at something, just sort of let somebody know instead of putting it on them. You're really one of the worst I've ever worked with, so I'm not sure this is going to work for you. Translates to me as, I'm new at this, I'm really nervous, I might screw it up, so it's going to be your fault if we do. I'm not going to take responsibility for this, or blame.
And would you help me? I've been exploring the two websites as we've been on the air.
Okay.
Looking for the CD that you made mention that we could invest in. And
is it on there?
And I was I hadn't successfully found it. I'd seen on the Spirit Wave Healings where there was a bunch of different things, I didn't know if it was on there or if you're going to be putting this on there. So